Can't open those beer cans when we're live streaming.
Just in time. Okay, good morning everybody. Welcome back to Octopus Odyssey. I'm joined with Dr. Janet Voigt again this morning from the Field Museum in Chicago, and we are returning to Caballito. We're doing a very similar dive to yesterday, and we're starting out here in the plains to do some heat flow measurements. Over to you, Dr. Janet.
Well, thank you, and good morning, everyone. We're looking at a familiar sight, the approach to an outcrop. And we're looking today at a site no one has ever seen before, since although it seemed like we saw a fair bit of it, this outcrop is so big, what we saw was just trivial. We're going to start here, do a white balance, a heat flow measurement, maybe take a close-up look at that anemone that's coming up out of the sediment, and see what kind of data we get. Got a feeling today we're going to be heading toward Shangri-La after having crossed the desert yesterday. We got a lot of bioturbators in the sediment yesterday, but when it comes to like animals you can see, which is the type I prefer, not so much. Whew. Too early in the morning for the bright lights. All right. Perfect way to start the day.
Doing scalper first? Yes, sir.
All right, 3,144.8 meters depth for those of you keeping track. Let's see how thick that sediment is. I'm betting that heat flow probe is going to go in just really easy here.
Oh, wait, man. We'll make life easier on you, buddy. Close. That's close.
I wonder when the last time was that an enemy had a good meal. He looks pretty meaty, but, you know, what are the odds?
You got hold that, you don't close, you got hold of that. Okay. Okay, you're free.
Hot knife through butter.
You ready?
Yeah, are we still?
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright. Probing down.
Okay.
Alright, probe is backwards noted.
All right, probe deployed. Life is good.
Yeah, I can see all that.
While we're waiting for that probe to equilibrate, I wonder if we could zoom in on this little reflective spot just over that arm.
That's the arm, so you can get some better focus almost there.
Hmm. Go.
There we go.
Sea cucumber.
Is that one of the ones that we were looking to collect, or we already got?
At this point, we're not collecting.
Okay.
What we'll be doing are these heat flow measurements, and then we'll proceed at 0.2 meter per second at 1 meter altitude without zooming and to waypoint 2. And we will have the lasers on, which is something I messed up yesterday. So,
I didn't remind you, so I take some responsibility.
I'm supposed to know that too. So anyway, the video transects, when analyzed later on shore with all sorts of references, allow people to plot the frequency at which different megafauna occur. I suppose they could also look at where the different bioturbators who have a signature on top of the sediment also occur. Gives you an indicator of animal density, productivity of the area, and if you can do it over a large enough geographic scale, distribution of species. Okay. It looks like he's had dirt accumulate around the mouth there. I think he's hungry. Is that something else to the right there? See where the green bit is?
Yeah, I can't zoom anymore. But
Okay. It could just be a little pleat in the skin.
normally would have been right off the sun border with that thing. Sorry.
When you think about the fishes we see and the number of parasites, you gotta wonder, do anemones have parasites? Or are they just such efficient killing machines, taking all those arms and pushing whatever lands on the oral disc into the mouth? They don't have to worry. Imagine every bit of food is pretty darn precious down here. Huh, look at that. For those of you without video access to us, we're looking at each other and going, Something about it suggests sponge.
I'm going to classify that as a fake.
Yeah. When in doubt, say sponge. If it's midwater and you're in doubt, say siphonophore.
Fair. That is fair.
Because morphologies, I mean, there's a bunch of them. Sure glad we're on our way to that Scheherazade with all the wonderful diversity. It's just probably everybody moved there. Well, that's kind of cool. Take a look at the distributional holes around the central hole there. A friend of mine was working in the Arctic Ocean and found repeated linear, that is, little holes all lined up in lines. They suggest it was amphipods. With this, I mean, sure, it could be. I don't know how you test that without taking a whole section of the sediment and bringing it up. We haven't got the technology to do that. That's old school. Be great to see something come out of it, though. So brittle star arms just to the right of center. No, I take it back. I bet that's a polychaete. Brittle stars are usually a pretty good bet down here because they're so efficient at covering ground and finding what's around. What made that nice hole just to the right? No, I don't know. You can see with some imagination, that animal reaches out and gets sediment, brings it in, and then may deposit its feces outside. Most animals prefer to have their feces well away from them. It just kind of seems intuitive.
Okay. I was wondering what that is, just slight mist of sediment just floating there, not haze.
Not much current, huh? Is this what's known as dead calm?
Pretty close to it.
Ooh, it's a little crustacean.
That spot for my camera just want to sit there.
Knock, knock.
Yeah, you don't sit up a lot. No, Are we on the jitters with that?
We still have a bit of jitter. I don't know, like the noise isn't. It's not exactly lined up on all the channels, so I don't know if it's from the rotor or.
Say if we only thrusters we have on our birds, if we want any lighter on those, we'll probably start to fill it up. So the only thing that we have on right now are our birds, and we want to be lighter on those, we can start to fill it up a little bit.
Right,
We really don't know.
and that's what was happening yesterday afternoon. Basically, he was just like letting off a bit, except for what
I'll let you know each time how noisy it is, and I'll sort of see if there's something that works. I don't know. Okay.
Doesn't look quite so flat over there to the left. That might be a good sign. If there's animals underneath, turning it up a bit. Gonna have some good stuff coming toward us later on today. I don't know if anybody ever decided what these long stalks with apparent polychaete sticking out of are. I don't remember ever seeing something like this before. And then, of course, there's the things that look like a stick that you can see are crawling across the seafloor. That's kind of amazing when you think about it. Who would want to drag a whole stick behind them in a resource-limited habitat? I guess predation intensity is pretty tough if you're going to have to carry a shelter like that. There it is. I keep thinking about the report some years back of Casper, the little white octopus that kind of remembered the guys in the science party of Casper the Friendly Ghost, who was found brooding their eggs attached to a sponge stalk at 4,200 meters depth off Hawaii, and also off Peru. So every time we see a little stick like this sticking out, I've been checking it out really closely and not finding anything. But we don't know what lies ahead. I would have said there weren't any octopus at 4,200 meters depth when that paper came out, so anything's possible. Of course, Casper is going to remain an unknown species of octopod because they weren't able to collect. And it's like, here's a really nice picture, really doesn't cut it. You know, it's hard to figure out what a species is, what its nearest relatives are, if you only have a few pictures. Same is true for anemones. We had some great views of what looked like relicanthus yesterday, attached to little knobs on the seafloor, but with the really long tentacles and curlicues, that seems like pretty diagnostic. So although anemones seem to have that blissful existence of a spring flower, also named anemone, apparently they don't. They can have parasites. That reminds me of picnic gonads. which we've seen a few times, and people have said, wow, look at that, that's cool. They actually have this big proboscis that they use to suck the fluids of living animals. Some of them occur only on anemones. The dinner plate sized ones that we see walking around here sometimes, I don't know what they eat. Probably just about anything they can. They're famous, of course, because males carry the eggs, saving the female a lot of effort. Good plan, I think.
Okay, that's good for that one.
Alrighty.
All right.
Then you want to retract your.
Heat flow probe reading number 1 complete. Woohoo! What you're seeing on screen is not the heat flow probe, although at first I thought it was. It's simply an indicator of whether or not it's sediment. Because the heat flow probe is what, on the starboard side of the vessel? And it's one of those pricey little geophysical instruments that you don't want to run into a rock with hydraulic power. So you need an assessment that there's enough sediment to keep it safe. There's no repair shops out here. There's no part shops out here.
I want you to move the port arm to the left. Just as long as there's no, so you got a shadow right there. Try to get rid of it. So just keep spinning left.
We're getting situated in preparation for video transect number 1, maximizing good view of what's out here.
Yeah, we're just gonna go past this, so it should be no problem. We have to ram out and something wrong. Lasers on.
Lasers on.
There we go. Got it. Alright, we're gonna possibly get the vessel fall on us. Camera's just above the porch, straight on.
Shoo-hoo. What a calm day on the bottom of the seafloor. Oops.
How did you say that?
Yeah. Well, we're gonna move on. Oh, there's one of those cool sea cucumbers with the big tail. I like those.
Updated position. We're going to start our transect now.
Transect begun.
Not quite yet.
Oh, not quite.
Sending this setup.
0.2.
Yeah, Jason, we're going to be starting our transect here in a minute or two.
Sorry, every time morning being update. Yeah, no problem. I will start the slow shift towards that later.
Roger that, thank you.
What's going on? Trying to settle up right. Alright, let's get there we go.
We good? Start?
Yes.
Cool. Video transect begun. With the lasers on. So we'll be going for 100 meters, just over the length of a football field, at a steady rate of speed, at a steady altitude. So this view is comparable with the view at the end. Having the lasers on lets who's ever analyzing the video get an estimate or a size. Ooh, there's a nice little pelagic isopod who just went off the screen. Nope, came back, left again. Because this is to allow quantitative analysis, we can't zoom into anything. But if we see something that's way, way cool, we can come back. Our friendly rat tail. His family name starts with a C, but I can't remember what it is. Periodically in the last couple days, we've seen these circles with holes forming them. I just wonder what those are. Hoo-hoo. Looks like a big pit. You know, Mike Vecchione had a paper some time back about bathyteuthis, and that mating actually happens on the seafloor, and that results in divots like this, you know, just kind of indentations. I think I remember something about whales actually feeding, but not at 3,150 meters depth. There's one of those circles now. That one kind of looks used up. There's another divot.
Weird something going on.
That doesn't look comparable to the others.
Yeah.
You guys got suggestions on what could have made that anchor? Maybe it's an anchor and it starts out like that and then erodes over time. I think that's a sea cucumber there who hasn't decided to settle or to keep swimming. First sea star of the dive. Biodiversity is just increasing by leaps and bounds with that. Oh,
Betty's asking that if we can put a marker from the
We put a marker at the back side of the ROV.
that we just cross.
Backside the RV.
Yep. Yeah, that's
saw these gashes. I don't know what that means, but
Yeah.
we just, I don't know.
Big hole.
All right.
Yep, we got it.
Next time we see them.
Well, we put
So-
one. We put one about where that last one was.
Okay.
So alien digging.
What are these gashes? What does it mean? I don't know.
There was a big hole.
hole.
Didn't see that, but yeah.
We dropped a
Big
nav
hole,
marker
not like that, it was
for one of those things.
yeah,
Trenching?
for sure.
Well, there's a filter feeder there to the left. That's always a good sign. I think a place like this, if an animal just gets a foothold, like a sponge, it would be colonized by all sorts of things who just don't want to live in the dirt. Or maybe not. Totally lovely there. Nice cryptic sea cucumber. Of course, why you need to be cryptic at 3,150 meters depth is beyond me, but maybe he likes to live in the dirt.
Alright, coming up on waypoint 2.
We're calling that end.
We'll end transect here.
End transect 2 prep heat flow probe. Woohoo! Moving right along here. And really, you'll notice that as we went on, we did get larger filter feeders. Perhaps it's a more stable habitat somehow. Perhaps there's more rocks or have been at some time. Because these filter feeders can be much older than anyone would ever expect. It's generally accepted hundreds of years, but don't regulate your own body heat, and you live where it's almost freezing. Does it seem like thousands of years? Or does it just seem like, oh, yesterday? There's another cool array of holes in the sediment, just left at center. Reminds me of beehive. Oh, somebody here is digging in the fauna and trying to spell something out. I think it's the letter 3. I think that's number 3 on its side. They're sending a signal.
You guys ready?
Stand by. I'm getting full black, so it'll come down harder. It's just it's gonna increase the amount for us to have to use.
that level of sediment disturbance going to mess with your reading?
As long as the probe's not in it.
Okay.
The probe you can see right there, it's still in the. We just went straight back pretty much.
Yeah.
All right. We ready to deploy?
Yeah, I think so. All right, you ready?
Yep, recording.
Good. Heat flow probe number 2 begun. And at this time, well, it's still a little bit early. Don't want to dump this on my relief, but I did want to take the opportunity to thank Schmidt Ocean Institute for the wonderful support we're getting here, and to encourage y'all to look at their Twitter account. Twitter is the only social media I ever use. And check out the video that's posted about Costa Rica and what we're doing here. And Beatrice, my relief, is featured in that video. Anyway, everybody have a great day. You guys too.
Thanks, Janet.
See you later.
My pleasure.
So now with the transect to this side, we will get it
Yeah, just like yesterday. Don't forget the lasers. The transects.
I will try.
Yeah.
Hopefully having that. Thank you, Janet. Good morning, everyone. This is Beatriz Naranjo from the University of Costa Rica. I will be joining you for the next hour. I will be switching between English and Spanish. Today we are exploring again Caballito, which means small horse. And we are exploring another area of this place. Buenos días, mi nombre es Beatriz Naranjo de la Universidad de Costa Rica, el colectivo Pélagos. Es un honor para mí estar hoy con ustedes. Voy a estar narrando la siguiente hora de buceo, como hemos estado haciendo en los últimos días. Este es nuestro antepenúltimo buceo. Hemos tenido descubrimientos increíbles hasta ahora y hoy estamos explorando nuevamente un sitio que nunca había sido visitado hasta el día de ayer. Ayer hicimos un buceo aquí en otra zona y hoy decidimos volver para obtener más evidencia de lo que estamos buscando, que es básicamente señales de flujo de agua, que es lo que estamos haciendo en este momento con una prueba de temperatura que en este momento está en el sedimento. Estamos unos 200 kilómetros frente a las costas de Guanacaste. Este sitio se conoce como Caballito. No estamos seguros el por qué. Algunas personas creen ver un caballito en el mapa. Y así fue nombrado en una expedición anterior, hace unos 10 años, cuando no se visitó con un submarino, pero se hicieron mediciones desde un barco. Y por eso es que tenemos alguna evidencia de que este lugar puede ser un punto de recarga de agua a través de la zona rocosa hacia la corteza terrestre. Estamos frente a Nicoya, así que este podría ser nuestro caballito nicoyano. Es algo que tal vez solo los costarricenses van a entender. En este momento vamos a quedarnos por acá un tiempo haciendo estas mediciones. El sedimento que estamos observando ha sido la acumulación de miles a millones de años de organismos que caen desde la superficie, organismos microscópicos que se van acumulando aquí. En uno de los otros puntos vamos a realizar, vamos a sacar algunos núcleos que se están analizando aquí a bordo y después en el laboratorio cuando regresemos a tierra. Hay muchas investigaciones relacionadas a estos sedimentos muy interesantes cuando se observan bajo el microscopio podemos ver organismos fósiles de radiolarios y foraminíferos. Tenemos una geóloga que se especializa en paleontología trabajando con estos grupos de organismos. Ella está en el turno de las 3 de la tarde, hora de Costa Rica, por si tienen más preguntas sobre la geología de este lugar. Estas mediciones que estamos haciendo están muy relacionadas a la corteza terrestre. Las personas que están a bordo, que me acompañan aquí, Rob, de la Universidad de Calgary, en Canadá, y su tutora, la doctora Rachel Luer, se especializan en hidrogeología y geofísica, como les hemos estado comentando. En pantalla tenemos un organismo hidrozoo que parece como una flor. Estos organismos capturan alimento con estos tentáculos que estamos observando. Como les comentaba, estos especialistas que tenemos a bordo tienen una estimación de la edad de la corteza terrestre que está bajo estos sedimentos, y esa corteza se produjo hace unos 20 millones de años. Esa es la edad que tiene. Entonces, de acuerdo a esa edad y las tasas de enfriamiento, ellos pueden tener valores estimados de cuál debería ser la temperatura conforme esta corteza terrestre se va enfriando. Y la prueba que están ahorita haciendo de temperatura les puede dar indicios de si en este lugar la temperatura es más fría o más elevada que esa temperatura esperada. Entonces, si es más fría, puede indicar que es un punto de recarga de agua hacia la corteza, y si es más caliente, que es un punto de descarga. Estuvimos explorando hace unos días un lugar sin nombre cerca de este sitio donde estamos en Caballito, y esto nos indica que este puede ser el punto de recarga, y esa es la evidencia que estamos buscando, ya que en el sitio sin nombre es un punto de salida donde el agua no sale tan caliente como sucede en Dorado. En Dorado vimos temperaturas de más de 10 grados y el punto de recarga se encuentra más alejado, y por lo tanto hay un tiempo de residencia mayor del agua que permite que esta agua se caliente más. En este sitio, si hoy encontramos que la evidencia para saber que es un punto de recarga, que es lo que indican mediciones desde barco de hace unos 10 años, tiene sentido, porque en el lugar sin nombre, donde encontramos pulpos también, el agua es de unos 5 o 6 grados centígrados. Entonces es un sitio más cercano a su punto de recarga, y por lo tanto tiene sentido, ya que el tiempo de residencia no sería tanto comparado a otros lugares. I'm happy to see that you are having some Spanish lessons. I try to speak in English sometimes, but I'm really happy to be able to speak in Spanish. Today we will be doing 17 waypoints. Each of them is a wave about 100 meters. So we will be exploring 1.6 kilometers of this area. And if we get to the summit, we will continue there, heading towards the summit to explore a little bit more about the fauna that we are seeing. We are seeing many polychaetes here. I'm sure the translations are really funny, the automatic translations. I think I will see them when I go home. This is the first of the last 3 dives that we will be doing here in Costa Rica. And I will not get tired of saying that we are really thankful for this opportunity. As Costa Ricans, it's been an amazing experience. Yesterday, a video about the second week of the expedition went online. It's called To the Deep Sea Country, and that's because we are really a deep sea country. And all the team was really excited about seeing this video. That is all in Spanish. Of course, you can see it with English subtitles. But we were really emotional yesterday seeing this video with beautiful images that all the team, and thanks to the crew and the pilots of the ROV for everything that they have been helping us really kindly. I'm here joined by Chris and Ben and Steph. They are part of the amazing crew that we have here on board Falcor 2. Sabemos que tenemos muchas personas, no solo de Costa Rica, sino de Latinoamérica, siguiendo la expedición. Como hemos estado comentando, el Falcor 2 con SuBastian va a estar en la región por los siguientes años. Así que va a ser muy emocionante, no solo la posibilidad de explorar el mar profundo de cada país, sino que estoy segura que esto va también a conectarnos más a los grupos de investigación y permitirnos realizar colaboraciones. Como he estado comentando en otros días, una de los principales logros, diría yo, de esta expedición, más allá del nivel científico, es la oportunidad que hemos tenido de aprender. Muchos de estos ambientes es la primera vez que los observamos y sabemos que han habido otras expediciones a aguas profundas en el país. En el 2019 hubo una, por ejemplo, con el Falcor anterior, pero son pocas las oportunidades que tenemos, así que estamos aprendiendo mucho. Muchas veces lo que vemos no tenemos idea de qué es, pero es parte del aprendizaje que estamos teniendo. Que mientras el SuBastian está haciendo la prueba de temperatura, vamos a ver si encontramos algo por acá. Como les comentaba en inglés, estos son gusanos, estamos viendo. Hemos observado muchísimos en estas planicies abisales que, como les decía, son la acumulación de organismos que caen. Okay.
Alright,
Ya.
do we go ahead and try to
Yeah, so
spin
do
this
you,
down a little bit, or do you want to take it out first and put it back in? How are you going to?
I think what we can do is if I start a new file and just start recording,
And then,
yeah, and then like say 20 seconds in, if you increase the power, you will see the response.
okay.
Okay, so just give me a second.
Alright. No, that's not bad. We're doing experiments with scientists.
For those who are joining right now, we are exploring a small seamount on front of Guanacaste province in the northern part of Costa Rica. We are about 200 kilometers from the coast and 3 kilometers deep. Hoy vamos a realizar 17 puntos de observación en esta área de Caballito, diferente a la que exploramos ayer, en la misma localidad, pero desde otro ángulo. En esos 17 puntos vamos a recorrer un total de 1.6 kilómetros.
Alright, down harder. About 40, so we went from 26 to 40.
Okay, stop.
Alright.
Yeah, like adding power was definitely like heating it. So you saw like the temperatures on all of the probes went up.
Okay.
So we definitely don't want to have more power.
Okay, so
Yeah. So we'll keep doing the lowest power.
the lowest I can keep the sun down?
Yeah.
Alrighty. I don't know what the, how you do that. I don't know what the jitters come from.
It might just be different sediment, different location.
No.
Ok, finalizamos la medición de temperatura, cuantitativos. Una vez analicemos los videos, en este caso, mientras nos movilizamos, es interesante. Ayer observamos aquí muchos organismos bastante diferentes y ha sido muy interesante porque hay una fauna que se repite en cada uno de ellos que los diferencia. Entre las muestras que recolectamos ayer, muy impresionados. La textura era como cuando uno toca la piel de un tiburón. Tuvimos la oportunidad de recolectar un radiolario que usualmente son bastante pequeños y microscopios celulares y medía aproximadamente unos 2 centímetros probablemente.
Yeah, totally.
No, that's not coming.
Estas como bolitas que estamos viendo en el fondo son pues básicamente algunas de las células más grandes del mundo. So right now we will explore another, we will do another video transect. Right now we are not doing stop a bit and make some zooms on it. However, we have a long list today of waypoints, so we have to be careful with our time.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's useful if you keep the laser, so but if we see something, we can. Semedo from the University of Porto in Portugal. He's been doing some really interesting experiments exposing board. Seeing just a few seconds ago was umbellula. It's a octocoral, a soft coral. Many of them erizo de mar. Como ven, los equinodermos son de los grupos más importantes. Toda la primera parte del buceo vamos a estar en las planicies abisales. Y también conocidos como peines de mar. Hemos observado muchísimos. Ayer también se transmitió el azul, o cuando SuBastian está en su regreso. So we are seeing a common jellyfish, ctenophore.
A little wide berth because it was fragile.
Yeah, really. Yeah, these organisms are really fragile. And actually, it's pretty hard to get samples of these because many times when we have been doing zooplankton sampling, usually the nets destroy the diversity of gelatinous zooplankton. Actually, we did a paper using the imagery or footage from a small submersible that we have here in Costa Rica at Isla del Coco National Park, and basically all we found was new for the country, and not only for the country but also for the Eastern Tropical Pacific. Estaba comentando que estos organismos como el que acabamos de ver, que era un ctenóforo o un peine de mar, son organismos frágiles muchas veces que derivan con las corrientes marinas, y todos estos organismos gelatinosos son bastante, todas estas imágenes son bastante útiles ya que es la mejor manera de observarlos. Lamentablemente cuesta un poco identificarlos a veces por no tener el organismo como tal, como dentro de una cápsula, digamos, no agarrarlo con el brazo ni succionarlo porque eso lo destruiría, sino que para poder recolectarlos intactos. Y comentaba que hace algunos años, de hecho con imágenes de un submarino que ha estado trabajando en la Isla del Coco por muchos años, lo que encontramos fue nuevo no solo para la Isla del Coco, que es donde está ese submarino, sino también para el país y para la región. Básicamente un 90-95% de lo que observamos fueron nuevos registros. Está muy ligado a realizar anotaciones en estos videos para identificar todo lo que estamos observando, y no solo ponemos atención al fondo marino, se transmite todo este ascenso de SuBastian, y muchos de los avistamientos más interesantes están muy interesantes de vida. colores increíbles. Aquí tenemos un coral negro. Gwendolyn es una estudiante de Odalisca, aquí de la Universidad de Costa Rica. Y Gwendolyn es estudiante de Odalisca y muestras de profundidad. Y esa es la razón por la que hemos estado recolectando. Permiten como formar hábitat para otros organismos. Estos peces nos han dado un espectáculo y usualmente tienen pues las aletas un poco más largas, un pez trípode. Hemos observado algunos bastante grandes, pero este es uno de los. Pronto vamos a llegar a nuestro waypoint 3 o punto de observación 3 a través de la corteza terrestre. Este pepino que vemos en pantalla fue uno de los que recolectamos ayer. Intentar ponerlo en uno de los contenedores que tenemos donde evidentemente no iba a caber. Así que al final lo pusimos en una caja. Los cicropotes. So this is one of the sea cucumbers that we collected yesterday. It was really rough, yeah, rough, sharp maybe, abrasive. Recordarles que si tienen preguntas en español, podemos intentar contestarlas. A veces no podemos contestar todo, estamos aprendiendo también, pero nos emociona mucho. Tenemos muchísimas preguntas nosotros también. Esa oportunidad de saber que no sabemos es tal vez una de las primeras imágenes. También recordarles que en la página de Schmidt Ocean se han estado a bordo. Así que invitarlos a darse una vuelta por ahí. Hasta que Rob logre hacer sus mediciones. Remember to visit the Schmidt Ocean Institute website. And as I was saying earlier, the Costa Rican team especially was really emotional about it. We also had an expedition back in 2019 called Costa Rican Deep Sea Connections. So there's a lot of information there from the seamounts of Isla del Coco or Cocos Island Ridge, submarine ridge. We were able to explore for the first time back then the summits and the bases of several seamounts. And it's pretty amazing, all the animals that we are exploring right now are connected to that to those seamounts. Don't know where it is. It belongs to Costa Rica and is basically the reason why Costa Rica have a large part of its territory in the marine area for scuba divers. So we will reset our system here and start.